If you keep watching, you can find out how these owners got to this end result in just 90 minutes without changing their equipment, without any treats, anything special, just the right training technique. So I hope you stick around, comment, like and subscribe, and let's get ready to learn, eh?
First, we need to talk about equipment. I'm very glad to see no one is on the harness except the tiniest dog, so that's okay. If you have a dog that is big, a harness is just going to make your dog into a projectile. Yeah, and you're just hanging on, really. Collars are fine. I might put a few of your dogs, depending on how you go and if you're okay with that, to put them on a slip lead to give you a bit more control of your dog. Go. Treat. Yeah, it's very, very rarely helpful to learn to teach your dog to walk with treats. Can you hear me? Yeah. Even though you're standing behind me? Yeah. So if I'm walking with treats, and I go 1, 2, 3, and then I treat my dog. Usually what they do is they eat the treat and they shoot forward, and then they're like, see ya. Yeah. So, that is the treat method. They just come and get the treat and they shoot off. They come and get the treat and they shoot off. Another one that is very popular is the stop-start method, where you have to walk, and the moment your dog pulls, they tell you stand still, and then your dog comes back to you, you start walking again, and really all you're doing is this. Yeah, you're not going anywhere with your dog. It's super tedious, and usually you don't commit to that very long because you're like, well, this is stupid. Yep. And the other one that gets done quite often, I walk and my dog pulls and I do a 180 degrees to the other way, and then they pull and I do a 180 that way, and now I'm just turning in circles forever and I'm never getting to my destination. So those are not going to work, so those are not what we're going to do. So what we're going to teach, I'm going to teach you the follow me method, and we're just going to go straight into it so we have lots of practice time. So, if you imagine a circle around me, yeah, a full circle, what we're going to teach our dogs is that they get the back circle and I get the front circle. Yeah? So effectively that means they cannot pass in my front area unless I tell them to. Okay? By that, we become more of a leader in our walk instead of us following the dog. Does that mean that your dog does never get the sniff? No, absolutely not. Yeah, your dog gets to have the back circle. And if they are trotting behind you and they're sniffing as they go, that is totally fine. Yeah, I'm not the dog trainer that tells you your dog needs to be right next to your foot and just march next to you the whole time. Like, I don't really think that's a fair way to walk a dog. So I don't like to train my dogs like that. Yeah, so, but initially, when you have a dog that pulls you all over the place, we are going to put some heavy restrictions in place. Okay? I must say, training on grass here is very difficult. Like, when you do this at home, you're going to be practicing on concrete because there's a lot less sniff, right? But at the beginning, when we're starting out, so if your walk is about 10 minutes, then 1 minute of that, your dog gets to sniff, and 9 minutes of that, they have to walk with you, okay? And then as your dog gets better at it, it turns into 80-20, 70-30, until it's kind of 60-40, 50-50, yeah? Because at the moment, I'm going to guess that most of you, your dog sniffs constantly and pulls you to sniff all the time. Is that correct? Am I assuming right? Yes? Yeah. So at the moment, the balance is probably 90% sniffing, 10% walking how you want to walk. Yeah, so we have to swap it around. So the stricter we are at the beginning, the more freedom they get later on. Yeah, so I know I sound a bit like a party pooper at the beginning, but it gets better as we get better. Okay? Alright. So what we're going to do, we have this circle, right, in front of us. and around us. I don't have the shoulder mobility to go all the way to the back. Yeah, so what we're going to do is I'll show you with a dog in a second, but first with my imaginary dog. We're going to have your dog on your side, and we're going to do 3 steps. And we start off with the foot closest to the dog. And I really don't mind if you walk your dog on your left or on your right. That's up to you. But you're going to stick to the side. What we're going to do is you go 1, 2, 3. And after the 3rd step, we're going to turn into our dog and kind of push him back with our body. Yeah? So we're using our body to say, get out of my space. Get out of my half of the circle. And I pair that push back with a sound. So I use myself, but you can go no or or whatever works for your dog, okay? Or whatever makes you feel comfortable. Like you don't need to go around saying if you're like, that's a stupid sound for me. Yeah, so pick something that works. You have to pair it with something though, because eventually I want to be able to walk my dog and I go back and they fall back without me having to follow through with my body. Okay? So how does that look? I'm gonna try scout.
Alright, I just have to do a voiceover here because there was too many dogs barking in the background and you can't hear me. So this is me handling Scout for the very first time. And she's a bit excited because she just realized she was surrounded by dogs. So I set her up next to me on my left side. And then I step off 1, 2, 3. And on the 3rd step, I push back into her with my body. And I make a ch sound as well. And then I repeat that. And then I repeat that again off camera as well. And then you will see me turn around, coming back into the screen. And I'm just kind of repeating that whenever I feel necessary. And whenever she goes out too far to the side, I just pull her back towards me. There you go. You already see a little bit of improvement there. And as I turn around, I start struggling a bit. Because she sees her mom.
She is going past my circle. I'm turning to her. Now the reason I'm struggling is because mom is right there. Yeah, it's easier if I walk that way because I'm walking away from mom. So she's like, no. And I'm going to teach you later in the class how to deal with triggers. 2, 3. So for Zola, I have to actually stop first. 1, 2, 3, stop. Get in front of her and turn. Yeah. Got some strength on her. Okay. It's all about timing. Yeah. So I praise along verbally, but I don't praise along with trees. And I mean, I'm making it so hard walking in between all these dogs. Good dog. Some dogs are a little bit, some dogs aren't as respectful of your space, or you are not very assertive. Like it's either 2 of those, right? So it can be handy to have this, not to whack your dog. Like, please do not start whacking your dog. I will get upset with you. But to use it as an extension of your arm, because when you turn, you can then lock your dog. Because some dogs are either really quick or they don't really care. So this is from a technique they use with herding dogs. Has anyone seen Master Dog by any chance on Netflix? No? Oh, well, go look at it. Yeah. And they use rake to stop their dog from going places. So this just extends your arm so I don't have to rush in front of the dog if we need. Okay. What we'll do is we're going to start practicing that first. Then I'll see how things are going. And we'll come back here and I'm going to explain my other 3 rules because I don't want to overload you with information at the moment. I just want to get going. And then depending on how you're going, we might have to add an extra correction to it. Some dogs are so oblivious to your personal space that we need to add something like a squirt bottle of water, or what there has is like compressed air. It's literally just air that you clean your keyboard with of your laptop. Yeah, just something for the dog to go like, oh, I need to not do that. Okay? Alright, what we're gonna do is we're gonna all find a bit of space. We're not staying in the circle. You can go on the parking lot. You can go to the backfield, because we want to kind of practice without dogs around. Yeah? And I'm gonna give you... No, I'm not gonna give you cones yet. All you need to do is 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. And you're just gonna do that until your dog kind of hangs back in their half of the circle. Yeah? We're gonna do that for like 5 minutes or so. Because this is an awkward movement. I'm just gonna put it out there, it's awkward. Yeah, so a lot of the time it's handling error at the beginning, and then once it clicks for you, it starts clicking for the dog as well. Yeah, so it's kind of like a weird dance move. Now, just very last things. If your dog is on this side and you accidentally step off with your outside foot, just count till 4. Okay? Because you cannot do 1, 2, 3. Now how do I turn into my dog? Yeah, so just go 4 so you can swing that leg around. Yeah? Find some space. And I'll come by coaching everyone. Look at Roxy go! And Willis is looking good. Nice work. Hey, look at that, Ruby. Good dog. So I'm going to do some walking drills. I'm going to give you some cones. And the first one that we're going to practice is the weave. So you're going to set your cones out somewhere where it's nice and quiet for you, where you don't have to deal with a lot of other dogs. You're going to start with your follow me drill, yeah, the 1, 2, 3 drill. And then you're going to weave your dog through these cones, if you can, yeah. Now, the good thing is that every time we do a turn that way, you're kind of blocking your dog as well, yeah. So if I'm going this way, I'm blocking with my body. Remember, stay behind me, and then we go this way. And as I come back, again, I'm blocking them with my body. You can even do a figure 8 if you prefer figure 8 over several weaves. All right, that's your first one. And your second one, you also need your 3 cones out. As this exercise will only be wider than what I have now. So you're going to start at this cone, start at your first cone, and your aim is to get to the second cone without doing a correction in between. Yeah, so you start, and if you can get here without doing a turn into your dog, you say yay, or you give them a pat, or they can get a treat. Good dog. Yeah. Then your aim is to get from this one to that cone without a treat in between, without a correction in between. If they can do that, awesome. Now we're going to skip the middle one, and we're going to walk this whole bit without corrections in between. Now, if you are having to correct, you're going to keep practicing that same distance. So say I'm walking and my dog pulls. All right, just finish your correction, do your walk, and we're going to do this until your dog is able to walk that end without corrections in between. Yeah, so we're going to incrementally build up the distance your dog can walk without corrections. Does that make sense?